So I was thinking about what to film, and the thing that came up is ways to love yourself. So I'm going to talk about different ways that you can love yourself. Loving yourself is a very broad topic, and it has to do with the way that you think, feel, act, do, say, like associate yourself with everything around you, and with your own self as well. So it's like the associations that you have with your own self. And it's important to love yourself because you live with yourself all the time. And if you are in an abusive relationship with your own self, then you can't expect for yourself to go very far without breaking down in some sort of way. But it's good to love yourself so that you can have a smooth ride through this world, and kind of also be able to sit with yourself, by yourself, and find the love in the situation when you're by yourself as well, where you don't have to have company all the time, and so that you can have some of these more deep inner realizations through internal work and things like that. But the first way that I would say that is the most important way to go about loving yourself is through the food that you eat. That's the number one. So maintaining a healthy diet is the number one thing that you could do to love yourself, in my opinion. And the reason why is because it's the most significant change in the mental and physical functioning that you can do, and also spiritual. It will connect you with your spirit as well, but it first comes the mental and physical. And like they say, like with psychic abilities, how they like kind of pour over after you develop them all the way. Like you develop one fully, and then it kind of starts to leak over into the next type of power. But it works the same way also with your mind too, and your body. So like once you develop a really healthy body, then your mind starts to redevelop itself to be healthy in accordance to that, and then your spirit will follow along with. Well, it's actually technically beforehand, so, but it feels like it's following along to the ego. The second thing that you can do to love yourself is to get out into nature and to walk around, get your feet planted and grounded. There's a very important thing about grounding where if you think about like an electrical outlet, or if you think about like some sort of a battery, right? If you don't ground that battery correctly when you're trying to use it, then the battery will just explode. So the same thing kind of happens with our energy too. It pulls up in different spaces, and it has no way of getting out without grounding. So that's why we want to ground ourselves. It'll bring you back in line with just the thought patterns that are comfortable to think to you and things like that. The next thing that you can do to love yourself is to take a look at the patterns of things that you do repetitively throughout your life, and honestly start to look into those and see the things that you do repetitively that you don't want to do anymore, or that you know are bad for you or not good for you, and then genuinely start to just find one thing out of each one of those and just make a change. So instead of just noticing the things that you want to change, actually find something to change in your life, and do something to do that. And just make sure that it's like some sort of a step that you take to make that change for yourself in some way. And because you can't just imagine your way into a new life. You have to do something eventually. So even if you have all of the knowledge and the information on how to change your life in the world, if you just sit and then keep gaining that knowledge and information, and you never do anything with it, then you really haven't done anything for yourself other than kind of hoard information and knowledge. Because really the only time that information and knowledge are useful is when they're given freely to other people. Otherwise, it's useful to you, but like it doesn't do anything to kind of raise the frequency of the planet or anything like that. or yourself. Anyways, so next thing that you can do to love yourself is to allow yourself to have loving communication with people. So allow yourself to allow yourself to have loving communication with people, meaning like to break down your barriers that you put up to love in your life. So a lot of people throughout their lives, they kind of get into this space where loving is something that is kind of taken away in their lifetime, and it's punished in different ways whenever they show love in ways that are not what goes along with their parents or something like that. So like say you wanted to cry as a kid and your parents always told you that crying is not okay. That's a form of love that you were denied as a kid, and that will change the way that you react to situations nowadays. And there are situations where if you were to have been vulnerable and cried, the situation would have worked out completely differently, and blah 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 blah. So it's good to look back into your past and see those kind of things in your past that have brought you to this space where you are now, and then to start to consciously change those things that you no longer want to identify with. Another thing that you can do to love yourself is to really kind of look back and see the things that make you feel good in your past, and then things that make you feel good now. Because like a lot of people have kind of like, you got to go back to your roots. So like go back to the roots of the things that made you feel good when you were a kid. Because a lot of people have kind of been really filtered down into this like techno lifestyle where, you know, they just want to do video games and technology and stuff like that. And you really have to kind of break away from that in order to be able to really see what it is that you truly love for yourself. Because most of that stuff is like controlling the things that you like in order to be able to keep you into a specific kind of frequency and keeping you doing the same thing that they want you to do. But it's finding the things that you truly love, and the things that bring you connection, and the things that bring you joy and compassion and love and things like that, and starting to allow yourself to develop that more. Also looking into your life and kind of like starting to understand that the meaning of life is to connect and love with other people rather than to collect and use things. That's kind of important for me too. So what else is there that you can do to love yourself? Find out the hobbies and things that you like to do too. So like art and other things like that. If you like doing that, then kind of bring that back into your life. Because a lot of people, when they get down or depressed, they kind of stop doing all the things that they enjoy doing in their life, and that kind of amplifies the depression and things like that. So kind of, if you have to, almost like push yourself or force yourself into at least starting one of those things, because I'm sure as soon as you start it, that you'll find that you still enjoy it, and that you'll be able to enjoy and finish it. And you may have to do that a couple times before it becomes easy to do, but once you kind of like have gotten yourself to start doing that, it becomes easier and easier to kind of like bring yourself back into that again, and to start bringing yourself back into that loving vibration that you have when you're doing the things that you love. I think that's okay for this one. I'll definitely make more stuff about loving yourself. I just wanted to do this really quick so I could get one out today. And I just, want to make sure that I'm doing this the way that I want, to be, I guess, consistent with it. So thank you, everybody, and have a good day.